Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Cone, and today I'm going to be predicting the entirety of the 2025 NBA playoffs. We're going to go round by round from round one to the conference semifinals to the conference finals to the NBA finals, and ultimately who is going to be raising the Larry O'Brien trophy in 2025 and who wins finals MVP in the process. I'm going to tell you who wins each series and how many games, give you my rationale, my reasoning, and of course, I want to hear your takes as well. Who do you have winning each and every one of these matchups? Who goes on to the NBA finals, and who is your NBA champion and finals MVP? Real quick, I do want to note before we get into this, we don't know who the 8 seeds are as I'm recording this. I do need to travel, so I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way now. And honestly, I don't think the winner of these final 2 playing games is really going to change anything at all in round 1. So yeah, I'll talk about what it'd be like if each team comes out of that final playing game to be the 8 seed. But just in general, it's not really going to affect my bracket. So we're going to go ahead and knock it out now. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And let's predict the NBA playoffs. First up, we have my Oklahoma City Thunder against either the Memphis Grizzlies or the Dallas Mavericks. Either way, I think the Thunder are going to win this one very quickly. I think most people would agree with that. With the Grizzlies, I think Ja, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson could steal a game. They've got a lot of really good talent. They've looked pretty fun under Isalo. Of course, Ja Morant has been more like himself. He is going into that final playing game with an ankle injury. We don't know if he's going to play. He's currently up in the air, but I imagine he wills himself to play. And the question is, how is he going to look? And if they win that game, how does he look in a series being hounded by some of the best guard defenders in the sport? And Alex Caruso, Kaysen Wallace, Lou Dort, the names just continue to go on and on for the Thunder. And then for the Dallas Mavericks, without Kyrie Irving and not having Luka Doncic now, I just don't think they can take advantage of the Oklahoma City Thunder defense the way that they were able to in last year's second round. Plus, the Thunder are just vastly better than the team they were last season when these two teams played in the playoffs. Kyrie out for the season, of course. Anthony Davis is really good. They've got a lot of size, and that could lead to them taking a game. But I don't think either one of these squads get more than a single contest off of the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are just one of the best teams in the league on both sides of the ball. Set records all over the place. They've got the best player in the series in Shea. They've got depth. They're going to be very well rested going into this, while both these teams are pretty beat up, dealing with significant injuries. Plus home court advantage, I think everything goes in the Thunder's favor. So yeah, I'll say Thunder in 5. Whoever comes out of this one isn't going to take more than a game, and I think there is a chance of a sweep, but I respect the top end talent on either one of these teams, so I do think they could go ahead and maybe take a game. Next up, we've got Nuggets versus Clippers, one of the series, maybe the single series that I'm most excited for. So much to talk about, and I dropped a full series preview if you want to see that here on the channel. It was a few videos ago, but basically what it came down to for me is the Nuggets have Nikola Jokic, and that in and of itself is kind of a trump card. And when you have the best player in the world who has played at an unbelievable level anytime he's gotten to the playoffs, that in and of itself is going to make you a favorite in a lot of people's eyes. I mean, you're seeing here on this NBA.com bracket challenge thing that 57% of people have picked Denver to win, and I'm sure a lot of that is they've got Nikola Jokic. Of course I'm going to pick them to win. And Jamal Murray has had some amazing playoff series. MPJ, Aaron Gordon have put up some pretty solid numbers when they've gotten to the postseason. It is a really good starting 5. The only issue is when you get to the bench, it's a little bit shaky. They've got a head coach who's only coached 3 NBA games going up against Tyronn Lue, and they're facing a Clippers team that's red hot and, in my opinion, better in almost every way. They've got Kawhi Leonard playing at the best level we've seen him play at in a while, and knock on wood, he's healthy at the moment. Fingers crossed that it stays that way. James Harden is a nightmare in the pick and roll, and that has been something that the Nuggets have really struggled with the entire season. Zubac's a great partner with him in that regard, and I mean, he himself has played at an all-NBA type of level this season, not to mention he's one of the best Jokic defenders in the sport. They've got more depth. They're better defensively. They've been playing better offensively as of late than the Denver Nuggets. I think the Nuggets, just having Jokic, are a better overall offensive team. But at the moment, the Clippers are red hot. The Nuggets feel like they're taking a little bit of a step back. It's a lot of turmoil going on at the moment over there in Denver, and I just don't know if I can trust this defense to reliably get stops, and I trust the Clippers defense to slow the Nuggets at least a little bit. Everything goes in favor of the Clippers, in my opinion, except the home court advantage. It's hard to win in Denver, and Jokic being the force that he is, but ultimately, especially with Jamal Murray's health being kind of up in the air at the moment, he's dealing with a hamstring thing. I'm going to go with the Clippers to win this one in 7 games. I just think they're the overall better team. There's not a lot of reasons for me to lean the Nuggets other than them having the best player in the series and the best player in the world that's playing some of his best basketball. But I think just overall team-wise, I can't see the Nuggets beating this red-hot Clippers team 4 games out of 7. Which brings us to Lakers versus Timberwolves, probably the public's most anticipated matchup. I mean, any series that features LeBron, Luka, and Anthony Edwards is going to be talked about a lot, plus the Lakers brand, and I just think the basketball in general is going to be really good. This one, I think, goes at least 6, if not 7 games, and I do slightly lean the Lakers. I'm going to pick Lakers in 6. The reasoning behind this is I don't know what I'm going to get from a playoff Julius Randle performance. I feel like he could, again, be very, very underwhelming. I think Ant could play really, really well, but I also then worry about the shooters Lakers. Like, is Jay McDaniels going to hit his threes? He's very hit or miss at times. Same thing with Julius Randle, who I was talking about. They don't have a lot of playmaking the way that the Lakers do. I mean, they've got two of the best playmakers of all time with Luka, with LeBron when Ant gets doubled. How is that going to turn out? Can the Timberwolves continuously make the right reads? I trust the Lakers to do that more often. Also, this Lakers team isn't the best defensively. They've definitely struggled a little bit, but their offense is just so dynamic. I think they could do a great job of giving this Wolves defense nightmares, especially Luka. We saw what he did to the Timberwolves in last year's Western Conference Finals. I just think this is a more dynamic team on specifically the offensive end, and I think ultimately that brings them over the top. So yeah, give me the Lakers. Also, they've been able to turn up defensively in specific matchups. JJ Redick is a really good head coach. I think he could scheme something up that isn't going to ultimately stop the Wolves a ton, but I think it will just do enough to allow the Lakers to pretty consistently outscore them. So give me LA to win this one, although if the Wolves do pull it off, I'm not super shocked. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Wolves' chances to go ahead and win this series. And we finish up the Western Conference first round with Rockets versus Warriors. Again, I talked about this one a lot in a series preview, like I did with also Lakers Wolves. I forgot to mention that on the channel if you want to go ahead and see more of my thoughts. But I want to see the Rockets win, to be honest. If you want a team I'm rooting for Houston, just because I love the way this team has played all season. I love to see the underdog, even though they're the 2 seed. They're a pretty heavy underdog. I mean, you take a look at the percentage of people that are picking them to win. It's a lot lower than you might expect for a 2-7 matchup. Unfortunately, I am going to pick against them. I'm going to go with the Warriors in 7. That was my pick in my series preview. I'm going to stick with that. I just think it's going to be hard for the Rockets to consistently score in the half court. I don't know who's going to be the number one option on any night. I mean, Jalen Green feels like he should probably be the guy, but there's so many nights where he puts up 30 and then the next night he puts up like 12 on 15% shooting or something absurd like that. Any games that we see that happen, I think the Warriors could run away with it, especially because I just trust Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler to perform in the playoffs, even though Amin Thompson is a great Steph Curry defender, and the Rockets did a great job of neutralizing Steph a lot throughout this season. I think the playoffs are going to be just a bit of a different beast. They've been playing some of the best basketball in the sport as of late, as has Houston. I don't want people to think I'm sleeping on the Rockets. I think they could absolutely win this series, and if you're saying that they don't stand a chance, I honestly think you're crazy. They have this great defense. They just completely destroy you on the offensive rebounds. If they can slow down Steph Curry at all, then I think they could give the Warriors a lot of problems. But the half-court offense, not knowing who the number one option is enough for me to lean Golden State, plus the experience on top of that. I think they're going to barely scrape out of this one, but even if they win, it's not going to be easy. And now we get to the Eastern Conference. Like I said earlier, I mean, the Cavs are just going to run over whoever they face. If it's the Hawks, I think it's 4. If it's the Heat, maybe it's 5 because Eric Spoelstra could get them a game. I'll just go 5 games, I guess. I don't really know who's going to win that one. I'd like maybe lean Atlanta, but they look so bad against Orlando. And again, the Heat are just playing demons, so maybe it is the Miami Heat. But either way, the Cavs are going to annihilate either of these teams. They are just a lot more talented. They are a lot better on both sides of the ball. They've got multiple of the best players in this series. They've got Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, 3 all NBA caliber players. I think at least Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley make it. Maybe Darius Garland has a little bit of a chance. Jared Allen gives them a lot of size. DeAndre Hunter's been such a big factor. Ty Jerome. The list goes on and on of talented players, and both these teams are just bad. So yeah, give me the Cavaliers to win this one very, very quickly in 4 or 5. And now we've got Bucks versus Pacers, which was just made a lot more interesting because before today, it felt like Dame probably wasn't going to come back in time for the series, or at least it wouldn't be towards the end of the matchup. But now we just got news that he's been cleared. He could very well return by game 2, game 3. And if Dame's coming back, it gives the Bucks a way better chance. I felt like with Dame not playing, the Bucks really didn't stand much of a chance at all. That Giannis would put up some insane numbers, but nobody else would be super reliable, and they would ultimately fall to the Pacers in this one in 6 games is the way I've continuously thought about this matchup. But if Dame's coming back and he looks anything like himself, the Bucks suddenly have a much better chance in this series. Giannis has just annihilated the Pacers a lot in recent history. I think he could put up like a 35, 15, and 6 or 7 type of series against Indiana. Dame, we know what he's capable of doing in the playoffs. He's a big-time riser in some of these big game scenarios. They've been playing better as of late. Like, they've been looking really good. Some of their depth pieces are stepping up. The Bucks might be ready to peak at the exact right time to knock off Indiana. But also on the other side, Indiana's just been one of the best teams in the NBA for a majority of this season. They had the slow start, and now Halliburton has looked like an all-NBA level player for a majority of the season. Siakam's been great. Nembhard is this lockdown defender. Matherin's been a really good scoring punch for them. Aaron Nesmith is a really good role player. Miles Turner's great. Obi Toppin's great. TJ McConnell's great. They are an extremely deep team. Defensively, they can actually get stops, I feel like, somewhat more reliably. And that's going to lead me to pick the Pacers. I also don't want to bank on Dame being himself coming off of a condition like the one that he had. He hasn't played in a little bit. So I do think he could be the X factor in this series. I mean, he ultimately is. What are you going to get from him? But just top to bottom, I trust this Pacers team more. They don't have the best player in this series, but I think they have the second best in Tyrese Haliburton. I think they're ready to go ahead and show that the Eastern Conference Finals run wasn't a fluke. They can knock off the Bucks with or without their top two guys. Give me Indiana to win this one in 7. Now we get to Knicks versus Pistons, another matchup that is so much fun. You've got Cade and this rapidly ascending Pistons team going into New York, Madison Square Garden, trying to knock off the Knicks, who came into the year as the second favorite in the Eastern Conference. At least I personally looked at it as probably it was going to be Boston versus New York in the conference finals. That was my prediction. And the Knicks have still been really good, but not as good as I was hoping, especially on the defensive end. I thought they could somewhat keep up, but it's been a really rough unit defensively all season for them. And I do think this Pistons team could give them some problems because Cade, last time they played, it didn't matter who they put on him. He was just torching anybody. Malik Beasley has been one of the best three-point shooters ever this season. They are a very dynamic team. They're not just a fun story. This is a team that could pull off this upset. Although I don't think they're going to. I think the Knicks are going to win this one in 6 games, having home court, having more experience, having maybe the best player in the series. It's between Jalen Brunson and Cade Cunningham. You could go either way. But regardless, even if you lean Cade Cunningham, it's then like Jalen Brunson, it's Karl Anthony Towns, it's probably Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. Like, they probably have the next 4 players that are the best in this series. They just have a lot more top-end talent. I think the Pistons are really fun. They're going to make this a way more interesting matchup than maybe some of the national media will give them credit for. But I think that it's a little too early for them to go ahead and win their first playoff series this season. A massive success, but I do think the Knicks advanced to round 2 over them. And that brings us to Celtics versus Magic, which I also think is a no-brainer. It's Celtics in 4 or 5. I guess I'll go 5. Again, no sweeps here in the first round, just because Powell and Franz are really good. They've got a great defense. The Celtics are prone to going cold for a game at a time. It doesn't happen very often, but if they go cold for a game, I think the Magic could go ahead and take this one. But outside of that, I just think the lack of any and all shooting, the injuries to Jalen Suggs, Mo Wagner, it's going to be way too much for the Magic to overcome. I think the Celtics win that one very, very handily to face off against the Knicks. In the conference semifinals, we've also got Cavs Pacers, we have Lakers Warriors, and we've got Thunder versus Clippers. Let's start with that one. Talking about round 2, this has all the storylines in the world. It's Shea versus the team that traded him away, allowed him to become an MVP candidate with Oklahoma City. It's James Harden versus his former team. This is the matchup of dreams. This one has so much potential. The Clippers have been one of the hottest teams in the sport. You've got playoff Kawhi playing at the level that we typically expect from him. You've got the Thunder, who have been a historically dominant regular season team. We're going to see some great basketball in this one. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to lean the Clippers as this like sneaky upset team to take down Oklahoma City, especially citing the lack of experience. And yeah, experience does play a factor, but I just think the Thunder are the better team overall. I think they're a deeper team. Shea is the best player in this series, and when the Thunder played the Clippers, nobody has really stood a chance against them. Shea historically has been really successful against Los Angeles. Now, they do have Chris Dunn, who's really good. They've got Derek Jones Jr., but they don't have the type of defender that you probably want. Maybe they throw Kawhi Leonard on him, but I think if that's the case, then you kind of hurt yourself because you need Kawhi's energy for that offensive end against this great Thunder defense. They've got big bodies like Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein to match up with the size of a Zubac, who again has been really good. They've got the defenders to slow down this offense. Lou Dort has been really good on James Harden in the past. I think J-Dub is a great defender for Kawhi Leonard. It just feels like to me, the Thunder are a more well-rounded team, and the Clippers have been playing, again, really, really good basketball. They might be the second best team in the West. They've been playing like it, but I think the Thunder are just the best team in the Western Conference. Not to mention the Thunder swept the season series against them, and regular season isn't always a direct comparison, but I think the things that we saw are pretty translatable to a playoff setting. So give me the Thunder. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they were 1 seed last year, they're going to lose second round again, but this is just a vastly better team. And if you don't believe that, you probably haven't been watching. Give me them to win in 6 games. I do think the Clippers could force this one to 7, and if things really start going their way, maybe they pull off the upset, but I think it's pretty unlikely. I just don't see the Thunder losing before the conference finals. And on the other side of the West, we have Lakers Warriors, another Steph Curry versus LeBron James playoff series. A lot of these have been classics. I think this one could fall into that category as well, and maybe it's the last time we see these two teams play against each other, these two players in the playoffs. I mean, next year I expect both these teams to again be really good, but you never really know how the bracket's going to shake out. So I'm going to appreciate the greatness between these all-time legends as we watch it unfold. And now it also features Jimmy Butler, it features Luka Doncic for the Lakers side. And I think this one is so close. Both these teams have had an argument for the second best team in the Western Conference as of late. The Warriors have this great defense. The Lakers have this unbelievable offense. Which side is going to go ahead and win out? I think I'm going to very slightly lean the Los Angeles Lakers to win this one in 7 games. I just think it's so hard to slow down Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, that three-man group up top. With the Warriors, they still have some issues with some of the Steph-less minutes. I still worry about how, like, Brandon Pajemski is going to play in the playoffs, or Moses Moody, for example. Is Jonathan Kuminga going to be involved? I mean, he's been glued to the bench, probably not. But does he ever show up, and can his athleticism make a difference? I mean, the Lakers' lack of size isn't going to be exploited by this Warriors team. Like, they're not really worried about that at all. Both these teams like to play small, and that can make for some really fun, fast-paced basketball. But I think with the Lakers not having to really worry about any big men is going to play a little bit into their favor. I'm going to lean them slightly. If you pick Golden State, I'm not blaming you whatsoever. I think this one goes to 7 games. It's 6 games at the minimum. The very likely outcome is a hard-fought 7 games, and maybe just because the Lakers have home court advantage and the Warriors have now had to fight their way through a 7-game series against the Rockets and through the play-in tournament after losing to the Clippers in Game 82, I think it might be a little bit much. The Lakers had a lot of time to rest coming into the playoffs. I'm going to pick them to win this one in 7 to set up Thunder versus Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Which brings us back out east for Cavs versus Pacers, and for this one, I am going to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers to win this one in 6 games. I think Indiana could take a few, and they could make this one a really scary moment for Cleveland, but I just trust the Cavs more. They've got a great size up front, which I think could really help them neutralize the front court of Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are just a nightmare to go up against. I think Evan Mobley's progression too is going to make them a lot more dynamic going up against this Indiana defense that is better than years past. But also I worry about, where does Tyrese Halliburton play against this team? Like, there's nowhere for him to hide. They've just got shooters, scores all over the place. I think he is really going to get targeted by Cleveland and Kenny Atkinson. The offense has just been so nuclear all season, led by Kenny. I think ultimately it's too much for the Pacers defense to hold off. I think they've got the defense to slow down Indiana enough too. I do think the Pacers take a couple of games. This is a great team with a lot of depth, but the Cavs are just the better squad overall. So give me them winning in 6 games, especially with them having home court advantage. And the final second round matchup is Celtics versus Knicks. I'm going to pick Boston. It's going to be the matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals that almost everybody expects, with Cavaliers versus Celtics. I just need to see the Knicks, or needed to see the Knicks, because it's impossible now, beat somebody, one of the elite teams in the regular season to give me hope. They weren't able to do that. They lost 10-0, or they went 0-10 against the Thunder, the Cavs, and the Celtics in the regular season. Celtics in particular couldn't get a single win off of them. Went 0-4. They had that last game that went to overtime, and that was the most impressive outing they had against the Celtics. And, they had Mitchell Robinson. Like, it was a more complete Knicks team than we've seen all season. So I'm going to give them respect enough to win a couple of games. I do think they're talented, and if you keep giving them shots, they're going to get it done eventually. But there's no way they go from losing all 4 games against the Celtics, a much better team overall in the regular season, to going ahead and beating them 4 times out of 7 in a series. I just don't think the Knicks are capable of doing it. I think the only team out east that can do it is the Cleveland Cavaliers, and we'll talk about that in a moment. The Knicks had a good season overall, but I think there are some things to be reworked. I just don't think they stand a chance against this team that is just loaded top to bottom in Boston. And that brings us to our conference finals. It's Thunder Lakers, it's Cavs Celtics, with a trip to the NBA Finals on the line. Let's go ahead and break this down. Thunder versus Lakers has so much going into it storyline wise. You've got the Thunder trying to get back to the finals for the first time since 2012, where ultimately they lost to LeBron James. They've got to get through him this time to get back there. You've got Luka going up against the Thunder, who he was able to knock off last year with the Dallas Mavericks in the second round. You've got this team, this hyper-powered offense with all these playmakers in Los Angeles. You've got one of the best defenses over there in Oklahoma City that we've seen in a long time. Shea versus Luka, 2 of the best young guards in the sport. All these great defenders that throw at the Lakers' top offensive options. It's super exciting basketball. And also a lot of media coverage with Shannon Sharpe saying, OKC, UFC, KFC, whatever, Lakers in 5. I've seen a lot of you say stuff along those lines in my comments. I'm sure there's already going to be a lot of you saying it right now, especially when I go ahead and make my pick, because I have the Thunder winning this one in, I'll go 6 games and getting back to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2012 when they played the Miami Heat. The Thunder are just more well-rounded. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier in that, specifically the Timberwolves series, I think I talked about, the Lakers defense has not been great over the time that Luka Doncic has been here. I've said a number of times that I think it's almost impossible to win a championship or make it to an NBA Finals when you make an addition that big around the middle of the season. It just changes your identity too much. You don't have the time to build up chemistry the way that you need to. It's a bit of a kind of just thrown together roster now. They weren't able to add a big man. And I do think this is a matchup where it matters. I Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren are both nightmares to go up against down low. This is a team that doesn't have a rim protector to stop Shea. I think Shea could just eat relentlessly on drives getting downhill. Now, the Lakers have a lot of really good length, a lot of defenders to throw at him, but Shea is somebody that I think is going to get to his spots. Isaiah Hartenstein screening is going to open the game up a lot for Jalen Williams. He's going to be a lot better in this year's playoffs, and I think that is a big part of it that not enough people are talking about. Having Alex Caruso in addition to Casey Wallace and Lou Dort to throw at Luka Doncic is big, and Lou Dort specifically has been like the best Luka defender that we've seen last year in the playoffs. By far the worst series Luka had was against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think this team is built to slow him down. Nobody could ever really truly stop Luka. He's one of those special talents, and LeBron's going to get his. Like, the Lakers are going to put up points, but also I don't know if they can stop the bleeding against this Thunder team that was a top 3 offense in the league in addition to the league's best defense. They just broke so many records this season. They've been so historically dominant. I don't see them losing in the Western Conference. I think they make it to the NBA Finals. The Lakers are going to put up a fight. You've got too much talent on that end to say they're just going to get annihilated, but I think after going through 2 really hard-fought series against the Warriors and against the Timberwolves to make it here with the defense slipping the way that it has in the second half of the season, not having a big to stop Shea and the big men down low for the Thunder, I think ultimately this is a team that just has too much for the Lakers to handle in this moment. Give me the Thunder in advance to the NBA Finals. Then we've got Cavs versus Celtics, and this is probably my most anticipated non-finals matchup in this entire bracket. These two teams are going to go to war against each other. All season, it has felt destined that we're going to get a Cleveland-Boston Eastern Conference Finals. Both teams have put up historic numbers. They've looked insane all year. They've been by far the best 2 teams in the East this entire season. And I feel like some people are sleeping on the Cavs just because they're kind of new on the block. This is a team that could get it done. They could get to the NBA Finals. They could beat the Boston Celtics. They are very capable. But it doesn't mean I'm going to pick them. I'm going to pick the Boston Celtics to win this one in 7 games to face OKC in the finals. I do think with Cleveland, they've got a lot of great talent, but Boston is just so insane up top. When you take a look at their starting 5, it's one of the most dominant starting 5s I've ever seen. They've got these great defensive guards to throw at Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland with Derek White and Jrue Holiday. I do worry a little bit about Jaylen Brown's knee. He's pretty banged up coming into the playoffs with that knee, and if it continues to get worse and worse, I definitely think that's something that could play a major factor towards the Cavaliers winning this series, but I'm not going to say that quite yet. You know, if we get this matchup and that is an issue, I'll revisit this. Of course, make a new series preview, a new prediction, because we got to see how the playoffs go and how both teams look coming into this series. But just here at the start of the playoffs, the talent that they have, the ability of Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford to stretch the floor, bring those big men out, force them to guard out there, open up the paint for Jason Tatum to get downhill. And I think he's going to be a lot better in the playoffs this year than he was last season, because last year he didn't play that great. And honestly, even with him not playing that great and KP hardly playing in the Eastern Conference playoffs or just in general, they kind of ran through the East. And this conference is a lot better this season. It's a lot healthier. The Cavs are really, really good. They are extremely deep. They're extremely well coached. They're very, very talented. But I think the Celtics have the right personnel to knock them off, to slow them down. Also, the Cavs defense did slip in the second half of the season. It wasn't nearly as dominant. There were a couple of losses that made me pause for a moment and be kind of concerned. Nothing too much, because it was like end of the season April basketball, which I'm not going to put too much stock into. But there have just been more moments, I feel like, of pause as of late with the Cavaliers than the Celtics. I think the Celtics go ahead and get back to the NBA Finals looking to repeat, and this time is going to have to come against Oklahoma City. And here we are in the NBA Finals. It's time to pick a champion. And funnily enough, this was also my preseason prediction for the Finals. I mean, I think they were the 2 favorites coming into the year, so it's not the most shocking thing in the world, but I don't think there's been enough throughout the season at any point to waver me off of this. I still feel like the Thunder and the Celtics are the best 2 teams in the NBA, and they're the ones that are going to be representing their conferences here in the NBA Finals. So let's talk about this matchup. They played each other twice this season. Oklahoma City won both times, and they were dealing with injuries. And I'm not going to look into that too much, because the Celtics have shown that they're a different animal. They can turn up to 11 or even 15 from 10 when they get to the playoffs, especially because, again, I do think Jason Tatum is going to play a lot better in these playoffs than we saw last year. I think he's going to step up in a big way. Really comes down to, can the Thunder continue to slow down Jaylen Brown the way that they did in the regular season? Can like a Derek White and Jrue Holiday slow down Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Do they have the ability to? What happens with like KP versus Chet, these 2 stretch bigs? Who shows up and produces? Is KP healthy? Because it's always a concern with him as well as that Jaylen Brown knee that is a real thing, especially if they go on this lengthy playoff run like I'm predicting them to do. Al Horford, how does he come into the fold? Because he is just still so good at this age. You've got Peyton Pritchard and Alex Caruso and Casey Wallace. You've got Jalen Williams. What can he do against the Celtics in this very high pressure scenario? Because all playoffs, the Thunder are going to need him to step up. And when he gets to the finals against the best team team they're going to face. Does he continue to produce at the level that I think he can with Isaiah Hartenstein? How does he go ahead and bust things up against the Celtics with his screen setting to go ahead and try and disrupt this really potent Celtics defense that just swarms you? Will Thunder role players like Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe knock down the threes that they are needed to in a series against this team in the NBA Finals? Because it is Oklahoma City's first time here. Like, experience does matter. I've said this before. I'm not the biggest subscriber to, experience is the end all be all, but I definitely do think it matters. And the Celtics, they have that. They've been to a couple of finals. They lost that one against the Golden State Warriors. They were in it last season. This is a really good Celtics team. It's a really good Thunder team. These squads are both historic. Last year, the Celtics set records and still set some this season. The Thunder set a lot. I think this would be one of the best finals of the decade, maybe the single best. We get some amazing basketball. Some of the best basketball, in my opinion, we've ever seen in an NBA Finals. But the question is, who ultimately wins? I'm going to go with the Thunder. You're probably not shocked by that. I'm going with the Oklahoma City Thunder to win this one in 7 games. Because I do think the Thunder match up pretty well with Boston. They've got really lengthy defenders with a Jalen Williams to go into Jason Tatum. You, of course, got Lou Dort to guard Jaylen Brown. They've done such a good job at shutting him down in their previous matchups this season. Again, I think in the playoffs it could be different, but if that knee is an issue whatsoever, then I really think Jaylen Brown slowing down could be a big-time problem. Derek White and Jrue Holiday are going to have their hands full with all the guard defenders the Thunder have. They can also go very versatile with the double big lineup if they need to, or go single big. I think Hartenstein is a big-time difference maker, a bigger one than people are realizing. And I do think the Thunder role players are going to hit the shots when they matter. Maybe you disagree. And also just in general, it's really hard, nearly impossible to repeat in the NBA. It's very rare that it happens. The Celtics are one of those teams that I think is capable, but also after going through last season and that run, and then going through the Olympics with Jason Tatum, and then a season all year where they've dealt with some injuries, they've been through a lot. They've played a ton of basketball. It's been nonstop for the core group of guys on this roster. I think at some point they might just slow down against a younger, more athletic Thunder team, and ultimately that could be one of the difference makers. Maybe it also just is some of my bias, but the Thunder set so many records, and every number that they've hit this season indicates that they should be the ones holding the Larry O'Brien trophy. At the end of the day, I think Shea's the best player in the series. I think Tatum is also top 5, but Shea's the best player in the series, and I think he wins Finals MVP. The Oklahoma City Thunder go ahead and get the first finals in franchise history, not counting the Supersonics. The first one they get in Oklahoma City as they start to build out potentially a mini dynasty here if they really play their cards right. And that's my playoff bracket. I'll go back through it one more time in case you want to see. I've got Thunder over the play-in team in 5 games. I've got Clippers over Nuggets in 7, Lakers over Wolves in 6, Warriors over Rockets in 7, Cavs over Hawks or Heat in 5, Pacers over Bucks in 7, Knicks over Pistons in 6, Celtics over Magic in 5, and then in the Eastern Conference semifinals, I've got the Celtics over the Knicks in 6 games. I have the Cavaliers over the Pacers in 6 games, Lakers over the Warriors in 7. I've got the Thunder over the Clippers in 6. Going on now to the conference finals, I've got Thunder over Lakers in 6, and I have the Celtics over the Cavaliers in 7. And of course, in my NBA Finals, to go ahead and wrap it up, I do have the Thunder beating the Boston Celtics in 7 games. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Finals MVP. Those are my playoff predictions. Let me know down below what you think about my bracket. Which matchup pick do you like the least? Do you agree with my finals pick? Who do you have coming out of both conferences? Everything like that. I just want to hear what your thoughts are on these NBA playoffs. I think regardless of how it looks, even if my bracket is just completely terrible, it's going to be super exciting. We're in for some amazing basketball. Just so many great storylines and narratives that can connect, that can come out of this. Some great hoops in general. Really, really excited. I cannot wait for this. But yeah, I appreciate you all watching everything that I've done leading here into the playoffs. I mean, this week for my channel has been by far the best in the history of it. It's really not even a conversation. So thank you so much for your continued support. There's going to be content continuously throughout the playoffs as well. More series breakdowns when we get to the second round, reactions to games, how series are going. I think my next video is going to be on Monday. I'll be reacting to game 1 of every series. I'll do something like one takeaway from every game 1 or something like that. But let me know what other content you want to see. Continue to go ahead and let me know over on Twitter or on YouTube, just which things you want to see covered throughout the NBA playoffs. And I really appreciate y'all for tuning in. As always, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. I'll see y'all later. Good luck to your team in the playoffs. Real one, say it back.